Making his debut on WATP Ski Mask. I was on your show a few years back.
Yeah, even I think it was a couple months ago. But you didn't stay long, and that's a good reason.
I did come on a couple of months ago, but I was talking about you first had me on years ago.
Oh, right,
when you were just the MLC wrap-up show, and
yeah,
I was getting blasted pretty hard in MLC at that time, so I wasn't sure what to make of it. When you invited me on, I'm like, okay, are these guys just gonna tear me a new ass, or what's gonna happen? But you guys were actually very cordial.
It's funny. Everybody thinks that when they're coming on my show, they're like, "Oh, why would I even do this? I'm gonna get ripped apart." I think Pat Oates said the same thing. He was like, I think I was gonna come on and just get trashed." No, we have fun.
Yeah, no, I wasn't dreading it, obviously, because I came on, but I wasn't sure what to expect. You're like, no. Yeah. It's all good, buddy. We're fine. The reason why I wanted to have you on, and I appreciate you making some time on a holiday like today, is because now when Chad went back on MLC last week, he was pissed that you were on there. Right. And he made the comment that you almost got him deported from the Bahamas.
Correct.
And so he was saying that you had fucked with him in real life. And Kevin just goes, "Oh, yeah, I forgot about that," kind of thing. And they just kind of brush it aside. So I didn't know what that story was. And then I happened to tune into MLC Saturday night, and you started talking about it more in depth. And I went, "This is an interesting story. I think we need to break this down a little bit, especially considering what's going on with Chad right now." So
I know
yesterday, Chad fell off his bicycle and was hospitalized.
And then, of course, I'm sure you saw his post from this morning.
Yes, we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Because I just got off the phone with my buddy Drew Lane, who also saw that post. He's like, "What is going on here? He wants to get his wife fired now? What's that all about?" Yeah. So it's pretty insane what's been going on.
He doesn't go after people's kids or families, but we've seen it time and time again. He's done it to pretty much everyone involved.
Well, what's interesting is that he says, "Oh, no, I'll talk about them, but I'll talk. I don't actually do anything." So then when he threatens you and threatens to get your wife fired and stuff, you're supposed to think like, "Oh, okay, that's just Chad being Chad." Or you're supposed to take it seriously? Yeah. I'm not even sure what he wants us to do because he claims that he's harmless.
I mean, I don't care who it is. Like anybody sending some messages like that and not trying to be funny about it, you're going to probably take it seriously a little bit.
That's definitely the intention. That's my point. There's no other reason to do such a thing than to do that. Okay, let me pull this up. So this was yesterday morning. So Sunday morning, he usually does Kumia's Cucks at 1 o'clock on Sundays. And he says, "Unfortunately, I was in a bike accident an hour ago and I won't be able to do Kumia's Cucks today at 1:05. I'm currently at the hospital getting checked out. Due to this, my channel getting 3 strikes from Kevin and my Twitter being suspended for 6 days. It's just not worth it for me." That sentence right there. What the hell is going on here? What does one thing have to do with the other have to do with the other?
Due to this and my channel getting 3 strikes from Kevin. I mean, and didn't he learn his lesson last time? You figured he would post the photo with the wristband. It's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf. No one believes this for a second. From the first sentence, you're just like, all right, this is bullshit already.
Yeah. Also, the bike accident, like to be hospitalized for a bike accident, is there head trauma? Like, did he break a bone or something? Like, that's a weird thing. Like, normally if you fall off your bike, you get some scrapes, you get up, you ride home.
That's it.
Unless you got really hurt, in which case, I don't know that you're going on Patreon and posting an update while you're in the hospital. I don't know. It seems odd to me.
And he posted it twice, not twice, but you could tell he edited it. Someone posted that too, where he came back and fixed a couple of things that from the original one, which is pretty
so he had
funny.
Some time.
So yeah, he has plenty of time to write this stuff up. He's truly thinking about it. I don't know if it's the head trauma from falling off the bike, like you said, but and what kind of bike is he riding? Kevin rides his bike every day in the city. He's in Tampa. I mean, how bad of an accident could this possibly be?
Yeah, he's in like a suburb. Right. I ride my bike in the city every day as well. And I know people are looking down at their phones and texting and stuff, but I've yet to be hit by a car. So I don't know. It's weird. So then he says, "Kevin couldn't beat me on just being funny, so he had to come for my channel and Twitter. He is worse than Hollywood canceling people. Kevin is a bitch, and you're only being booked on his show to spite me. You are also a bitch going on his show." Okay, now a lot more to unpack here. First off,
this is amazing. I love
this is insane. I mean, the ramblings of a maniac. So let's think about this. He says that he went after my channel because he couldn't beat me on just being funny. Chad, you weren't even trying to be funny. We watched some of those stream snipes that you did, or snipe streams.
I watched most of them because, I mean, they make me feel good just watching a lunatic lose his fucking mind.
Yeah, he wasn't making fun of him or anything like that. He was just, he was just freaking out, yelling liar, so, you know, whatever he was doing. But it's like, no, you were stealing his content and making money off of it, which is why copyright law exists.
Correct. And the only part about that show that was even close to being funny was the hype train, because it's just so ridiculous. You know.
Well, but the funny thing about Chad, and he doesn't even realize this, is that he's actually taken on the stuff he made fun of Aaron for doing, but he does it worse.
Right.
Like he's asking for likes and he's doing the hype train and asking for money and stuff like that. And he pretends he's like, oh no, I'm just goofing on Aaron. It's like, no, you're actually now become worse than what Aaron does on his show.
Yeah. Because I think the first time or the second time he did it, like money was pouring in for him because people were like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So now he's actually taking that and just doing the same thing. It's like, and I don't know if he thinks people are laughing with him, but we're not. We're laughing at him.
I know he thinks he's killing it with that.
Right. That's the whole point of watching that.
So he says, Kevin is a bitch and you're only being booked on his show to spite me. Now, who is he talking about there? Earl?
So there's a couple of things that I think that he's talking about Melton here. At first, I thought it was me because I did the Saturday night on the MLC.
Right.
But I think he's talking about Melton here, and because they announced that Mondays with Melton. And we were talking about it a little bit Saturday. And as we know, Chad and Melton are, they're kind of friendly. So I think he's saying Melton's only going to go on MLC to spite him. Or is he talking about anybody who goes on MLC?
Well, yeah, it's hard to say because it could be you, it could be me, it could be Ray DeVito, it could be any number of people who are out of the Chad business now who go on MLC. Because I think every single person that goes on there has a problem with Chad and vice versa.
So what happens when Florentine makes his return appearance on MLC? Is he only doing it to spite Chad?
I hope he does come back. That would be awesome. I'd love to hear what Florentine's take is on all of this, because it's not that he goes out of his way to defend Chad by any means, but he's definitely held up their friendship.
Right.
And is that's the go-to for everyone. They're just like, how bad a guy could Chad be? Florentine likes him. It's like, well,
and I've heard it before too. I think Florentine said it. He doesn't like to do MLC because it's his favorite show to listen to. So whenever he does an appearance, he's like, well, now I don't have an episode. But I think now that there's so many episodes, it shouldn't be a fucking a
that's true. It's on 6 days a week now?
Yeah.
It's insane. All right, so we don't know what he's talking about, but maybe, Melton's going to be on Monday, so that could definitely be it. And thanks to everyone who has my back on this pile-on. Again, I appreciate it. So that's Sunday morning. And of course, a lot of people tweeted this out, including myself, and some fun conversations going on Twitter about that, because no one's believing. It just doesn't make any sense. You'd go from the bike accident thing to immediately into pissed at Kevin and Melton. And what happened to the Chad from just a few days back where he's like, come on, man, I was just fucking around.
Right.
Can you just take the strikes off my channel?
He was so sad on that episode.
Yeah.
It's like, can you just please take my strikes away? It's like, I don't know. Hashtag keep the strikes. But he posted this at 10:30 a.m. So how does he know that he's not going to be? He's just getting checked out at a hospital. How does he know he's not going to be able to do a show at 1:05 p.m.?
Right. It doesn't. None of it makes any sense.
That's hours away.
I think he wants sympathy. The problem with Chad is that he doesn't stick with one strategy very long. Right. So it's like, if you want people's sympathy and you want to show that you got knocked off your bike and you're in a lot of pain or something, like, okay, go with that. But he immediately gets right off of that by posting this today. And this is insane.
Fair use, bitches. Like, I hate any grown man that calls people a bitch. It's sad. I don't know. I've always didn't like that. All
caps also annoys the shit out of me.
Oh my God.
All right. So now he's announcing he's got a new episode of Mudshark Loves Misery. He says, this whole weekend, I studied YouTube community guidelines top to bottom. What about that time you were riding your bike and going to the hospital? Anyway, this whole weekend, I studied YouTube community guidelines top to bottom, and there is absolutely nothing Kevin do against me in a court of law in regards to fair use. I tried to do the right thing, but Kevin shoved my face into shit during the process. So now it's all out war. The reason why I didn't stop is because that was all one sentence. Chad's adult.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't understand punctuation.
Well, that's why he had to fix his first one that he typed yesterday. I mean, there was run-on sentences, and then even some of them are like none of it makes sense. I don't know. He cannot type.
I do this crazy thing where I proofread before hitting send. I don't know. Am I the only one who does that? I don't know.
No, not at all.
That's
what I like about the Twitter Blue is they're like, hey, you could check this out for 2 minutes before it'll send.
Oh, they do that on there? I didn't know that.
I think so, yeah. And then, or you can click send now anyways.
All right, this whole thing where now he's saying that he's going to win in court over fair use, it's not getting to court. This is on YouTube. YouTube has deemed this inappropriate, and those strikes will not be removed. I don't think.
My favorite part about this heavily ran-on sentence is during the process. There's no process. You got stricken because you were breaking the rules. There's no one's working with you.
I know, and that's the thing too, is like, how many times is Chad going to talk about how he's got attorneys and he's doing this and he's going to do that? And it's like, none of it ever comes to fruition. It's always a lie. So it's like, Chad, you're such a one-trick pony, and now you've been exposed for so long, over so much time, that no one takes you seriously. You've lost all credibility. I mean, you lost credibility a while ago, but now everyone knows that.
I mean, just to piggyback off what you were saying earlier, if he wanted people to feel sorry for him, post the scars, you're in the hospital. Let's see some photos, and some proof. I mean, no one's going by your word, Chad. Absolutely, no one is.
No, in fact, if he really did get hurt badly in a bike accident and didn't show any proof, there's going to be so many memes. The funny one where the guy's putting the spoke or putting the thing between his spokes. And
I have that meme I've had on my phone for 3 years. Since 2020, someone made it of him crashing a bike. And I was trying to look for the old one. I can tweet it to you real quick if you want. It's classic because it's a little bit different because it has the Carl.
This new one is really funny because of the faces that they use, because they use the black eye Chad. Because it's almost like how South Park does Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
They just have a few different photos of him, and so he's like smiling and all happy go lucky, and then he's like devious Chad, setting up his own accident, and then he's down to the ground with the black eye holding his knee. It's just hysterical.
I mean, he does it to himself, and at this point, I don't know if he's just doing it on there's no way he's doing this on purpose. No,
he's not smart enough.
Right, exactly.
He's not smart enough to have like a bigger scheme or plan. Anyway, let me get back to this post. This is insane. So then he writes in all caps, "I won't stop until his wife is fired from her job," talking about Kevin Brennan. What the fuck is that? That's where you lose everybody, Chad. What are you trying to accomplish here? You want her to be fired from her job?
Well, that's why I like the sentence that follows up after it, because he clearly doesn't have anything, and he's admitting it right there.
Yeah, give me any information you can get to me, because I'm going up against everyone. All right, yeah, so that's the whole thing. He's like, I want to get her fired. What can I get her fired for? Like, what can I tattle on her about? Really? Most employers don't give a shit about a troll on the internet who has a vendetta against a spouse.
Exactly. I get they'd be like, what is this? And then you would just be like, oh, it's somebody just they're mad at my husband or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband's a pretty famous comic. Maybe you've heard of him. Maybe you've seen him on TV a bunch of times. And he's got some people who are jealous of him. So I'm sure he'd be like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. So then he says, you want to play dirty, striking channels? Let's play dirty. And then all caps again. I want all the channels to get striked. Kevin set this tone. So now it's your duty to strike everyone. This is what we do now.
I didn't even read that last one. Okay, this is your duty to strike everyone.
Yes. Yeah, his supporters now have to go around and strike everybody because Kevin started this. Now, again, I was not happy with Kevin striking Chad's channel until I learned that Chad was going on telling people to report Misery Loves Company.
Correct.
That's bullshit. Don't tell people to report people. Don't try to get the government involved or YouTube or just this is tattletale bullshit. You're being a child when you resort to that.
And I do have to say that 2 or 3 of the Chad's quote unquote supporters are those guys on Twitter who do shit like this, which is funny to me. They just want to see this chaos and they're, doxing, all that stuff. So I feel like he's directly talking to them with the army helmet. It's your duty. It's your call of duty to do this. Why? Because you lost? I don't know.
Well, aren't even those people sick of his shit though at this point?
No, I mean I think one of the guys, he's a longtime MLC fan, and he's like trashing MLC a little bit now.
Oh,
So
all right.
so
Team
these guys
Mudshark
are,
then.
yeah, there's like 2 or 3 of them who are heavily Team Mudshark, and the same 2 to 3 people who post photos of your family, people who don't want any resolvement in this.
All right, now Ski Mask, I don't know your background very well. And so, I was watching the show and we played a clip of it where Chad was waiting to come on for like 40 minutes while you were still on the show. And he comes on and he goes, I don't know why you're having this guy on. I don't know if he called you a handyman or something. I don't know what he said you were. And he goes, this guy tried to get me deported from the Bahamas. He's a bad dude. And I have the text thread here. I don't know if you want me to go through that or if you want to give me some background first.
Yeah, I mean, we can run. That's funny, the handyman thing. The only reason he knows that is because one of those trolls and supporters got me banned from my handyman app. They made a bunch of accounts. They found my account and left me a shit ton of reviews. You can only get like 2 to 3 bad reviews before you're booted for life. So I lost that gig.
All right, so when Chad says he never does anything, he just talks shit. He never actually does anything. I mean, that's an example of him pushing for something bad to happen to someone in real life and making it happen. So he's lying about that. All right.
Yeah, I got banned. I can't even do it with a new email because you got to do Social Security, all that stuff. So I can't do it anymore. But yeah, we could pull this up. This is, I had more. I talked about it on Saturday on MLC or maybe Wednesday about the text thread between Paul Finns and him that I had, and they were Apple iPhone text messages. The next day, I had no longer had those, and these are from 2020. So I think that he somehow got the phone company to delete them or something. Because I still have the text messages. I don't have the iMessages, but I had them the day before because I screenshotted it and sent it to Paul Finns. And I was like, never forget when he tried to do this to you. So this here is here's a thread between Chad and I, less than a year ago, it looks like. Yeah, I took my girlfriend to the Ray DeVito taping in New York City, and of course somebody had to tweet or send up a picture to Chad of my girlfriend here.
So he says, how do you feed that tub of shit girlfriend? She's so fat. And so he initiated this conversation, obviously, with that.
Right.
You write back, yeah, send pics, call me. I'm serious this time. It isn't okay for someone who isn't in the world to be picked on. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's like, okay, we're bringing in girlfriends now into this.
Pick on me.
What are we doing?
You got something on me? Again?
He says, nah, you don't call the shots or make the rules, dude. I called Chuck because he was manipulated by you. He was innocent by standard. You will pay, and I kept score. Keep coming at me. You're done.
So here, and it has been confirmed, people, because I teased it a little bit. I've had multiple people call Chuck to see if it's real. Chad called Chuck crying on the phone, begging him not to come. And because he talks shit about Chuck Mangione family. And Chuck Mangione doesn't like it when people talk about his family. So good old Chucky booked plane tickets to Tampa and posted it on Twitter. And Chad called him crying, begging him not to come.
Can you give me a little background on Chuck Mangione? I thought he was a, bugle player.
Oh, Chuck Mangione,
jazz musician.
He's one of the original beautiful boys of MLC. All around good egg, fan of the shows. And I was dating his sister at the time.
Okay.
And so he was talking trash about Chucky's sister. And Chucky just, without making a huge deal about it, booked tickets to go to Tampa because through our friend groups, we know where Chad lives. Yeah. And he just posted his itinerary where he's going to be doing on Twitter. And Chad saw it and called him and begged him not to come because Chucky doesn't. We can all sit, it's bad. It's a bad move. Chucky's quiet. He'll just slowly be down there. He's a 100% Italian guy. So he doesn't really take that shit too well.
I always say, like, when people, I've gotten death threats and things. And when people like,
it doesn't bother me.
Right, because people who are actually going to do shit, keep it quiet. They want to keep
that's exactly what he
get
did.
It done. Yeah.
Okay. And, but he agreed to not completely smash Chad's face in. He went down there anyway and just went on a fishing trip. But that was his intention, was to go down there.
So you reply, just got the phone with Chuck. He is a brother to me. He will destroy you if I say so, and I would do the same for him. And so Chad says, are you threatening me? Go try to manipulate him. I already got my scouting report on you, bro. Do I have your girlfriend's name? So I have your girlfriend's name, so let's play ball. Why does he say, do I have your girlfriend's name? So let's play ball. It's hard to read his stuff. It's not grammatically correct.
Yeah, you could tell he's, I mean, these are all drunk tweets because,
Well, you can tell because it says PM next to the time.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
That's how you know. So
to be honest, I was a little bit drunk texting here too. So
sure,
but I didn't initiate the conversation.
No, 7 minutes later, he says, "I met many manipulating weasels like you. You use people, and you've messed with the wrong. You messed with the wrong dude. My apologies to your fat fuck girlfriend." Now, the thing about Chad, and I've noticed this about a lot of dumb people, they think that everyone thinks like them.
Right.
So Chad literally tries to manipulate people. That's what he's always trying to do when he's trying to get people to report people. And I mean, I'll bring it back to this story again. One of the first times he ever met Kevin Brennan, he wanted Kevin to go after Kelsey Cook for him. So Chad's always trying to do this. He thinks that you can manipulate people to do stuff for you. Now, people are just going to do what they're going to do.
Right.
Now, there are some people who are more convincing than others to get people into action. But the fact that he thinks that you're in the manipulation game here, I have a feeling Chuck
narcissism.
Yes, correct. Because I'm guessing that if Chuck wants to kick his ass, it's because Chuck wants to kick his ass.
Correct. Yeah, he doesn't have a show. He's just a fan.
All right, and then he posts. I guess this is the photo of your girlfriend.
Right. We're just enjoying the night out.
Yeah, she looks cute to me. I don't know, whatever. And I actually like what your comeback is here. He posts a photo. It's disgusting, and then you say, "Call me if you want to talk," and he says, "Never." And so right there, I got to give you props. It's like, dude, do you want to hash this out? Let's have a phone call. What do we do? We're just gonna
call me. Let's talk. Let's
text back and forth.
If I did something that was so bad, I don't like to text. I think it's childish. Just call me if you have a problem, so we can hear the tone of voice.
Right. And he says never.
You can't pick up on tone in a text.
Right. And so you write back, how come there isn't one photo of you with a lady? Which I've wondered the same thing myself. And then he says, your comebacks are terrible. You keep digging a grave. You're not a smart man. Coming from Chad.
Now I'm just fucking with him at this point.
Yeah, now you're just fucking with him. I came back. I would have to wipe it off your lip. Bro, you are so unfunny. I play the long game. And congrats on getting your girlfriend fired. I take my time with info. You messed with the wrong dude. So Chad pretending that he's got this grand scheme in life is the funniest thing. He's 48 years old.
Right.
He has nothing going on. His only source of income was a YouTube channel that was struck down, and now he's backed into a corner and crying like a bitch and threatening to get people fired. So this idea that he ever has a long game is insane.
Right. And then, so I was originally going to go with Chucky to Tampa and film the altercation, but I ended up having to pull out. So that's why I say I'll see you in Tampa.
Well, also, he's threatening to get your girlfriend fired here.
Correct.
What the fuck did she do? Why does he think he can get people fired from their jobs? I know the chick has gotten fired from a lot of jobs, so he probably thinks that happens all the time. I've never been fired from a job, and a lot of people have.
Amazing. Yeah, I've never. I got fired one time for a drug test, but that's a different story.
Different.
What's funny about this is I'm starting to get when he's talking trash about these club owners, at Snappers or wherever. Maybe it wasn't the club owners who treated you like shit. Maybe you were an asshole in those clubs, and that's why you have to rely on YouTube now.
Yeah, I've heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that Chad's been kicked out of a comedy club or two for being a little bit too belligerent.
I've heard he got kicked out of the Ohio ones because he was messing with a lady, and I don't know the full details, so I won't go into it. I don't like to speak out of terms here.
Sure, yeah.
That's when he went to L.A. because he couldn't work in Ohio.
Right. Yeah. You literally get to run out of town. It's great.
Right.
All right. So he says, you got nothing, dude. I don't like you at all. that's
shit. I can tell.
That's the funny. You know what, man? I don't even like you. Like, well, no, I know. We're past that. And so you're right back. I don't care if you like me. Chucky and I will see you next month. Unless you would like to squash the beef, then this is the end of the conversation. All right. So that's pretty well put. Like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap it up here.
Yeah. All right. Like, are we fighting or what? What's going on?
Yeah.
So then he says, him and I are, and he's supposed to say messaging each for the past hour. You're a complete manipulator, just a liar or a person. He means of a person. We have no relationship. So this the way it's written is so piss poor. I don't know how this guy, I know he got a 2.7 GPA and he's proud of that. I don't even know how he got that in college. Him and I are messing each other for the past hour. You're a complete manipulator, just a liar or a person. We have no relationship.
And what's funny about this is I was living with Chucky at the time. Chucky,
Okay.
he got a message from Chad that said, "Can we talk on the phone?" That was the conversation in the messages.
Oh, so he thinks that he's playing this game. We're just like, nah, man, I got him on my side now. You're sitting next to him on the
He
couch.
has no idea I'm living with him.
Yeah, okay, that's funny. He says, you came at me, and now this is what it is. You cannot intimidate with anything. You cannot intimidate me with anything. Okay. And then you say, suck my fat cock. Chucky is one of my best friends. You made the mistake, asshole. Not even man enough to make a phone call. Fucking fraud. And he said, it's only because I don't respect you at all. Oh, that makes sense. You'll sit here and text with him all night, but you won't call him because you don't respect him. Sure.
Correct.
By the way, so happy to hear what happened to your brother. Couldn't have happened to a better family. Good night. I have a show in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
So what happened was, yeah, exactly. No one watched. He found my brother on Facebook and saw that he had just broken his ankle in 3 different places, and was like, he was about to go in for surgery. So that's what I'm so glad to hear what happened to your brother. And I'm just like, okay, so now you're really creeping hard.
Yeah, this is one of the things that Chad does. He likes to be an investigator on Facebook, as we learned from the Aaron Himmel thing. And it's not cute. But
my
also,
brother's just laughing because he does these shows too, you know?
Right.
But he's not on Twitter.
It's like he broke his ankle. It's like, yeah, well, it'll heal. I'll be all right.
Yeah,
it's
like, I'm so glad to hear that your brother got in a motorcycle accident, broke his ankle. It's like, oh my God, that hurts so bad. I sent it to him and we're just laughing.
But Chad's the first person to cry when they talk about his brother being run over. And he's just like, and you guys talk about my brother? It's like, you love talking about people's family.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Here he is trashing my brother, but we're not allowed to speak about his.
No, that's hurtful.
Yeah, this wasn't even something I said on the air. I'm like, okay, there's only one place he could have got that info is Facebook.
So then he says, haha, not even close. Your brother can't even walk. Thank you, Lord, because you said good luck with the $850 you're going to make this week.
And that was even pushing it, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good week.
Oh, no, because that's this. He's doing this when he's about to go to the Bahamas.
Okay, right. Okay, so then you says you can't even. So he says your brother can't even walk. And you said you can't even talk. I'm going to email this conversation to the club in the Bahamas, winky face. Don't worry. Ray gave me the info. And he writes back, oh my God, it will do nothing. And Ray was the feature when he was here and got paid feature money. KM, the headliner.
Did Ray make more money than Chad in Bahamas, or is it the other way around? I can't remember.
No idea. Anyway, keep going knowing that I know about your girlfriend. This isn't going to end well for you. So just more threats. And you say, is that a threat? LOL. Ray is 10 times the comic you wish to be, fat fuck. And then
I was doing a callback because he asked me earlier in the conversation if I was threatening him. So
right,
like, is that
exactly,
a threat?
yeah. So then he says, I'm bored with you. I want almost dealing with a retarded kid with comebacks. Good. I mean, when you're calling someone retarded and you can't form a sentence, not a good look. Congrats on fucking up your girlfriend's life. Oh yeah, this is now your fault. Somehow you fucked up your girlfriend's life.
Right. Yeah. I'm the one who's going to get her fired.
Chad has no responsibility in this at all. All right, well, that's convenient. And then you wrote back, learn how to talk and get a job. Comedy isn't working for you. And then he says, keep digging. You're very dumb. Which, by the way, he actually used the correct "you're" right there. I'll give him credit.
He did.
Give credit where
thought about that
due.
one. I mean, if you could, is there minutes that go by between those two texts?
Well, he's got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. But yeah, there were 5 minutes. And then is this how he wraps it up? Oh, yeah. So there's a couple more here. I know it's driving you crazy, but I have no respect for you. You've been able to manipulate and tool people for a long time, but I see right through you. You prey on people. It's gross. It makes me think there is a God knowing what happened to your brother. He watered it. All right. This is so stupid. So he thinks that God, to smite you, had your brother's ankle broken in 3 places.
Right. He thought that, since I'm a bad boy, that my brother went over a triple jump and cased it and broke his ankle, and it's my fault.
So fucking retarded. He's so childish.
24 hours away. He's in Texas.
Oh God. Anyway, so then he says, still not as bad, or you say, still not as bad as your comedy career. And then he writes back, I got her and school's name. So I guess your girlfriend's either a teacher or going to school. Correct. I have that fat piece of shit's work contact. The Bahamas have your info now. Bad move impersonating authorities, especially with warrants. You wrote back, blow me loser. And he says, too bad you got your girl fired. And
yeah, so right then I knew, like, okay, they have my information, but they're not. What are they going to do if they even have my information?
All right, so explain that part of it, because that's the part that we're leaving out here. Is what happened with the Bahamas gig and your involvement there.
Oh, you mean leaving out, or you took it out of the combo?
Oh, I didn't take it out. Should I keep going?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. So then the June 12th, 2022, this is probably the next day.
Guess so.
8 a.m. I love having your girlfriend's work info. Should I contact them Monday or Wednesday? Decisions. Ooh. That's some threat right there. That's someone you know has nothing.
Right. That's what I'm toying with them here.
Right. So you wrote back Tuesday? I know. How'd you leave out Tuesday, Chad? And then he writes, this is on you. And then you write back, I will be on you next month, Daddy, with smiley face. He says, you keep digging holes for yourself and you lie nonstop. Well, that's the other thing that's great about Chad when he calls people out for lying. You're always lying. Am I?
And what in here am I lying about?
I don't know.
Is he talking about me coming to Tampa or what?
Good question. And then you wrote, if I were in the Bahamas, I would turn my phone off. However, I'm not obsessed with myself. Get some help, dude. And I guess that's
So okay, I guess that part was left out. Yeah. So basically I'm like, I got hammered and I'm reading through this stuff and I'm trying to talk back, be cordial and just call me, we could talk about this, whatever. And so fuck it. I picked up the phone. I called the hotel in the Bahamas and I said, hey, you have somebody there who can't get out of the state of Florida named Chad Zumach. And so they looked into it because I guess they don't get phone calls like that a lot. And that's why he uses the name Stone Cold Steve Austin when he stays at hotels now. So you can't call and he uses Steve Austin as his sign-in name. So
right.
Next time he's at a hotel, just call and say, hey, I'm looking for, you got a guy there named Steve Austin.
All right. So basically you did try to get his gigs canceled.
People, here's the thing that people don't understand is that they think I called the club. I called the hotel he was staying at. So it never had anything to do with the gig. It was the hotel. Yeah, this is a screenshot I was able to get to send to Paul when I had the blue iMessages. And then the next day after talking about this on Kevin's show, all of these messages were gone.
All right. Explain this to me because this is so out of context.
So this is when Paul Finns was he was a co-host of Ski Mask Collective, and he also had a show called Offensive on my channel. Paul didn't do anything. Chad got mad he couldn't get to me. So then he started text messaging myself, talking about Paul's family. Paul did a follow-up Offensive show, which has since been taken down, where he basically went over all of the credit card stuff. And I got to ask him and see if he still has a copy of it because he's the one who took it down. And so, yeah, because he was like, holy shit, this guy's saying this about my family. And this is 2020, folks. 3 years ago, this is happening, going after families and basically doing the same exact thing he's trying to do to Kevin now.
Yeah, let me read.
Go ahead. This is amazing.
This is pretty damning. This is from Chad Zumach to Paul. Tell Paul. Wait, why is he saying? Oh, this is to you about your co-host. Got it. Tell Paul if he doesn't give his child up for adoption, I'm calling child services on him. He shouldn't be a father with how he acts online. Now, right there, these threats are so insane. No one's gonna take you seriously, Chad. You're being vindictive. You have a vendetta. No one's gonna sit there and be like, oh, this is a guy that talks shit about you on the internet and you want to ruin his life? All right, yeah, we'll get right on that, sir. Thank you for your phone call, guy. So start them. I'm gonna have his children ripped out of his home, and then he goes to tell Paul his tattoos are hideous. And I finally heard his voice, and it's terrible. It's like, wow, You should have started with the bad tattoos, then gone to like, I'm gonna have your child.
And I
taken
don't
away.
even know what he's saying here because Paul really only has, I think, maybe 1 or 2 tattoos, and you really can't see them when they're talking. I'm the one with the hideous tattoos.
Yeah. So then he says, if he promises to give his child up for adoption, I'll forgive him. That poor kid needs to find a home so they have a fighting chance. So again, Chad's just worried about the poor kid. You know, he's just worried about
Right.
the family, just like he was with Aaron and his ex-wife. He just wants these kids to have a good life.
Yeah, he's promoting a book just to really
Yeah.
get the kids in a better home.
He
What
has
does he know
everyone's
about
best
children?
interest. He gets everyone's best interest in heart. So then he writes after that. So Paul said he's going to fight me. Ha ha, let me know. I would destroy him. I'm very easy to find. I post all my dates. I don't hide behind fake names. I knew if I went after his wife and kid, he would say I went too far. He is so fucking predictable.
Let's break
that's
this down.
hilarious. Yes,
This isn't 2020 when he's saying I'm very easy to find. I post all my dates. Well, in 2022, he's still posting his dates, and Chucky knows where to find him.
Yeah, and then he's crying. Saying,
Correct. Yes.
But the hilarious thing about this, because this is very similar to when we did a show about Chad passing out drunk on his own show, and Chad's comeback was, "Oh, that's so predictable, Carl. Oh, you're gonna go after the show where I humiliated myself on the internet. Oh, wow, good one. Who knew you were gonna do that?" It's like, okay, weird angle.
Do you know what my show is, Chad?
Yeah,
it's Who Are These Podcasts? Of course you're going to go after that. That would be the first thing you talk about on the next day whenever you do the show.
It'd be stupid not to. So what Chad writes in this is he goes, I knew if I went after his wife and kid, he would say I went too far. It's so fucking predictable. No, that is too far. That's why it's predictable, Chad. Because it is.
They're not on the show.
Far.
It's just Paul on the show. You can't get to him.
Kids. Why are you trying to get people's kids removed from them and their girlfriends fired from their jobs, and now Kevin Brennan's wife fired from her job? It's insane.
It's wild. It's a wild way to act, especially like you said at the beginning. Him basically begging to get the strikes removed and doing a complete 180 and going back to just Chad being Chad. I don't know, but yet he's winning. I don't know.
Well, yeah, what's shocking to me, and I think this is the definition of retardation, is the fact that every move that Chad has made all along the way, when we've been documenting it pretty well over the past few months, has worked out poorly for him.
Right.
It's resulted in him getting less work, having fewer friends. No, has he gotten hate viewers? Yes. I will say I did start to build up his channel with the hate viewers, and that started to work for him. But then, of course, he did the copyright violation, got the strike, so that's now gone for him. And I can't see a way that Kevin forgives him and lets him off the hook on this one. So at some point, Chad, you have to evaluate. You have to reevaluate. You have to sit back and say, is the way that I'm approaching the issues that I have with other people helping me in any single way?
Right.
Because it really definitely is not.
And so he went after Levy, and I was saying it Saturday night, like Levy shouldn't be the one advocating to have Chad back on. And I think Kevin was like, okay, well, let's do it if Levy says it's okay, because Chad was going after. So now here we go again. Chad couldn't get to me, so he goes after Paul. Chad couldn't get to Levy, so now he's going to go after Brennan. And it's like, dude, are you going to just let it fizzle out a little bit, or just go away? I mean, I don't know. It's mind-blowing. And yes, I'm a Patreon subscriber of his, because when I listen, frankly, it makes me feel so much better about my life when I'm in a bad mood.
There's a lot of reasons to listen to Chad's show, but for jocularity is not one of them.
Anytime I'm thinking bad about my podcast, I just turn on an episode of his, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm doing okay.
And I have to say, like, I didn't realize when we started talking about Chad more and more on the show, I didn't realize that he was as bad at this as he is. He's taken a different approach than Stuttering John has, but not a better approach. Definitely not better.
I don't think so at all. Not better. This is like
they have a lot in common, being unfunny and very intelligent. And I think that's the thing that is the problem for these guys who are trying to think 3 moves ahead. It's like, dude, just think about what you should do right now. Don't even worry about 3 moves ahead, because you have no idea. You're not a chess player in this.
And he doesn't think about the long game a lot of times when he writes this shit. It's like he wouldn't be living where he's living if it wasn't for Brennan. I mean, he's with Gladwell Ape gave him that apartment, and that was through Brennan. And Gladwell Ape's a #1 Kevin fan. Like he's an original beautiful boy. So I don't know what Chad really thinks about that type of stuff. Brennan's like, well, I kind of know where you live if I really wanted to, but Brennan's like, no, I'm gonna play the long game probably, and still end up coming out on top because that's the way he does it.
What's your prediction for all this? Now, of course, by the time this comes out, things will probably have changed again. But what do you think's going to happen?
I don't know. I decided to keep my mouth shut on this Mondays with Melton thing. I think it's a fantastic move on Kevin's end because Chad does the Mondays with Mazer. So Kevin knew it was going to really bother him. So I'm excited to see how that's going to go. I don't think it'll last too long. But I know that Melton's going to be doing the merch for those guys, and that was kind of the trade-off for that is for him to do once a week on MLC if those guys want to sell their merch through Melton.
Isn't it funny that like Chad does things like Kumi's cocks, and he tries to do these things like get under our skin, and it doesn't work because we don't care because he's not a big deal. He's not good at this. But then when people do that shit back to him, Mondays with Melton, like it does bother him, which is why he does what he does because he's so easily bothered by these things and take it off.
What's also great is when he started the Kumi's Cucks, if you can remember, I was originally on the logo, and then I came out on I think it was MLC or my show, and I was saying like I have transcripts of the stuff he said, and then it was like a week later, all he did was just remove me from the logo. And refused to say my name. It was like Bob's like, oh, he really hates you, doesn't he? I'm like, I guess so. It's that bad, He'll be like, oh, he's a nobody. But it's like, I think Melton actually summed it up best. If I'm a nobody, I'm doing the same thing Chad's doing. We talking to a microphone over the internet. It's like,
right. Speaking of which, people can find Ski Mask Collective on your YouTube channel.
Right. It's youtube.com/Ski Mask Media. We have that show, and then Stevie Lou and I wrap up MLC every Thursday directly following that show. And it's on all your audio platforms, Stevie and Ski after MLC, and then, of course, the flagship show every weekend. We try to do it on the weekends, make it a little bit easier for people out there.
Awesome. And you're not doing the Sad Shit episodes anymore.
No, I mean, it got to, I woke up one day and I was like, I don't feel like doing this anymore because it's the same thing. We're going to continue to talk about it, but I'm not going to solely base the show. So if you had Sad Chad in your playlist, all we did was just change the name of the show because there's too much going on out there just to talk about Chad. I mean,
it was fun while it lasted, though. I know.
It was a blast. I loved
it.
It was getting way more viewers than my regular show, which seems to be, people are paying attention to what's going on out there with this madness.
Now, Ski Mask, you heading to the beach today?
I think so. Day? I mean, we got to get outside and do something. I've been stuck.
Do you wear your ski mask to the beach?
Of course I do. You should see this tan line, man. It's amazing.
That's hilarious. All right, buddy. Thanks so much for hopping on and
thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. I hope people are enjoying this. I know we do a comedy show, but I'm fascinated by this individual. I've never met anyone. I don't know anyone in my life like Chad Zumock. I've never met anyone like this.
He's pure narcissism.
He's an idiot. Yeah, and everything that he says about other people is a projection, and it literally is. Everyone else is rubber, and he is glue. There, I said it. Who are these